Hello, it is time for composite area. And all that means is if you take the area of two or more shapes and you add those together, you have composite area. So the area of two or more shapes added together. So first off, we just need to remember the formulas for all of the different shapes that we have. If you have a rectangle, parallelogram, or square, your area is just base times height. If you have a triangle, your area would be base times height divided by 2. If you had a circle, your area would be pi times radius squared. And then the ever fun trapezoid, the area is base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2, where the height is perpendicular to or has a right angle to the base 1 and base 2. All right, there they are. So starting off, we have a basketball key here, and we want to find the total area inside. The shapes that I see, we have our rectangle and we have our circle. Something important to notice is that the rectangle and circle overlap right here. So between here and here and here, if we count the full circle and the full rectangle, we'll be counting this space twice. So we got to be careful about that when we're finding our composite area. So first off, for our rectangle, I have a base of 19 and then the height. Now notice over here that the radius is 6, which means that from here down to here would also be 6. And that means from here to here would also be 6. That makes our diameter 12 feet. And so now we know our rectangle is 12 by 19 feet. So it's going to be 12 times 19. And when we multiply the two together, we end up with 228 feet squared. Then we want to find the area of our circle. And the formula for that is going to be pi times radius squared. However, remember, we only want half of the circle's area this time, because otherwise we're counting this spot twice. So I'm going to divide that answer by 2 in order to find just the half circle's area. So 3.14 is what pi is equal to. Our radius in this case is 6. Remember, we have our radius of 6, diameter of 12 that we found earlier. And so I'll have 6 squared here. And then again, divided by 2 because only want half the circle. This is going to be 3.14 times 36 divided by 2. And then if you can do some cross-canceling here ahead of time, it does make things easier. 36 cut in half is 18. And so my answer is just going to be 3.14 times 18. And that is 56.52 feet squared. All right, last step, add them together. That will give us our composite area. So we had 228 and 56.52. Line up our decimal points when we're adding. And we end up with a total of 284.52 feet squared. And there it is, composite area for this basketball key over here. All right, last one. Shakira is planning to put a lawn in her backyard by installing sod, rolls of grass, and needs to know how many square feet of sod she should order. Her yard is irregularly shaped and has a fish pond in the center. The dimensions of the lawn she is planning are shaded in the diagram below. All measurements are in feet. All right, lots of ways to do this. I'm just going to take each individual section and find their area and add those up with subtracting the area for the fish pond because that part doesn't need grass in it. So to start with, I have, let's say this triangle right here. I can see it's 3 feet from here to here. And then the length from here to here should be the same as from there to there. So this is a 20-foot length as well. So that triangle there would need a formula of base times height divided by 2, because that's how we find area of a triangle. And in this case, our base and our height are 3 and 20, cut in half. Again, this cross-canceling thing is wonderful. 20 divided by 2 is 10. That means we just have 3 times 10, or 30 feet squared for that first piece here. So I'm going to write that inside, circle it. Now we know how big that is. I'm also going to look at this here, triangle, and notice that it's 8 across from here to here. And from here to here is 12, meaning from here to here is also 12. There's our right angle, so here's our base and our height. And so we'll do the same sort of thing. We got area is base times height divided by 2 for triangles, which is 8 times 12 divided by 2. Cross canceling, let's do 8 divided by 2, that's 4. And that leaves me with 4 times 12, or 48 feet squared. And then for our last part, we need to find the area of this rectangle here. And so for the rectangle, area is just base times height. In this case, that's 20 by 12. And that gives us 240 feet squared for the rectangle. So if we add all of those things up, what we'll find is that we have the area of this whole entire section, including this circle. And again, we don't want to have the area of the circle in there. So let's go ahead and find the area of the circle so we can subtract that out from the total. So for circle, the area is pi times radius squared. Pi is 3.14. And the radius on this, well, I can see over here, the diameter is 10, which means my radius has to be 5. So I'll do 5 squared. Whoops, there it is, which is the same as 25. And so I multiply 25 times 3.14 and get my 78.5 feet squared. So these are the ones I want to add, and this is the one I want to subtract. So I'll do that now. I have 240 plus my 48 plus my 30. And add all those up, I get 318. But I want to subtract the circle, 78.5. Line up your decimal points when you're subtracting, and you get 239.5 feet squared as the total area that is going to need sod or grass in the shaded parts up there. So composite area, finding the area of several different shapes, adding them up together gives you your composite area. All right, guys, see you later. Bye.